it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful, empowered harmonizers. And we're zooming in and focusing in on a crucial and extremely important aspect when it comes to healing through a wounding or traumatizing relationship with someone who has perhaps pathological self-importance, is extremely manipulative of others to get their way, to be the one who is always right, to be the one who is superior or better than others, and to use this personality disorder of narcissism, or even really getting into the antisocial personality, which means they always have to have a leg up, a foot up, an eyebrow up over others. They always have to sort of extol their virtue, that they are better than others. And oftentimes they brighten their light, they improve their status or position by knocking down others, by insinuating that you're at fault, that you're weak, that you're stupid, that you're ignorant, that, you know, basically they will take you for a ride and use you for a means to their own end. In other words, things that are not in your best interest. And this can create a lot of resentment. So the topic and what we're zooming in and focusing on today is how to handle and remove resentment. Resentment can create a really huge barrier or block to your moving up in the healing cycle. If you have and harbor a lot of resentment, anger within your heart, your mind, your subconscious, this is going to create a barrier or a wall and feeling that you can't move forward, and it's going to hold you back from being able to love yourself unconditionally and love others in a similar manner who you can trust. It is to understand really what resentment is. Resentment is when you feel that you have been treated unfairly, unjustly. Someone has done you wrong. They have duped and deceived you, perhaps through a pathological sense of self-importance, and especially a narcissist or a psychopath's ability to exploit others, meaning that they will take advantage, take from others as a means to satisfying their own ends, whether it is in relationships of love, where they're kind of always sort of taking advantage of your good nature, your soft side, your weak spot, your generosity, your affection, the fact that you love to give. You know, it is those individuals who have a big heart, tremendous empathy, tremendous sympathy, tremendous passion, and have a preponderance or a propensity to want to take others in under their wing, to be able to coach them, assist them, help them move through specific situations in their life. You know, the do-gooders, the good Samaritans, the helpers of this world. Those people who have who are very receptive, who are very sort of, you might, when we talk about, someone who is green or naive, meaning they are always have a preponderance to see the best in others. You know, they're always looking onto the bright side, the silver lining, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. In other words, they are people of the heart. These individuals tend to be the ones who get walked on, trampled on, waffled over, and basically, taken advantage of or exploited by these people who have a pathological sense of self-importance, which gives them this sort of entitlement mentality, exploitative nature. In other words, they don't feel bad when they're taking advantage of others. They don't have sort of that tinge of guilt or remorse. They don't feel bad that they're like, yeah, can I get one more back scratch for the 1,000th time and you have not got a 1? So there's this inequality that is harbored and really woven within the fabric of these relationships. And oftentimes those individuals who are targeted as supply are very willing participants in the inequality. In other words, they have an avoidance nature. They're afraid of the rage, afraid of confronting, afraid of speaking up, afraid of speaking their truth because of the yelling that might ensue, the slamming of doors that might ensue, any sort of physical violence, any sort of saying, well, if you don't like it here, then leave. These sort of ultimatums, which can be very hurtful. So it creates an avoidant nature within a lot of people who are up against these types because they're too afraid of the retaliation. They're too afraid to speak up. They're too afraid to say, you know what, I am good enough. I've got what it takes. I'm going to move on. I don't need to take this any longer. So especially if you find yourself in, with a child with these individuals, or this is within your family or within your workplace or someone who you're married to, it makes it very complicated. And this can harbor a lot of resentment. And resentment is really a feeling when you have been treated unfairly, unjustly. This shouldn't have happened to me. I can't believe this. This is unbelievable. What did I do to deserve this? I did nothing but. And then you've got these sort of statements. I did nothing but love them. I did nothing but listen. I did nothing but pay their way. I did nothing but, pay their rent, take in their kids, pay for their kids' education, make them dinner, give them love, give them an open heart, an open door, whatever it is. So you'll see that this is a manifestation of the inequality in the relationship. There's a large percentage, sort of when you look at the percentage nature, is to say, you know what, I gave 80% to my receiving 20%. So these are the people who have a personality, who are targeted as supply and tend to stay on too long. Those people who have sort of this input ability, they have an ability to, they want to take responsibility and they don't have a problem with taking responsibility for the needs of others. They're not afraid to, sacrifice. These are your martyrs who eventually become the martyrs and then can harbor resentment, meaning regret, looking back. In other words, I barricaded myself from being able to receive. I didn't speak up for my needs. I took on the needs of another as my own. I loved this person as myself. So in other words, you felt big enough, strong enough, loving enough to be able to endure this. And oftentimes that is what keeps you on too long in sort of the dynamic of the relationship where you're going through the love bombing. So you've been wined and dined or, told pretty nothings or whatever it is that, was in the beginning stages of the relationship. Perhaps where you had a need fulfilled and that you felt happy. You felt content, you felt excited, you felt stimulated by the relationship. Or perhaps you were born into this relationship and you needed to live with this person. This person unequivocally was your caregiver, the one who raised you, the one who, was your parent, who was your caregiver. So you had no other choice than to endure this treatment. And so even as you're growing forward and you're trying to move through, you might find that it's difficult to grow. In other words, you keep stopping yourself. You keep sort of getting distracted. You get that tinge in your stomach, that pit in your stomach when you go, God, this was awful. This was horrible. This is ridiculous. I can't believe that this happened. I can't sort of move on. I can't talk to this person. I can't talk to anybody. I have so much resentment. That is what resentment is. It is sort of the angst and the melancholy that can come from feeling like you were treated unfairly and unjustly. And so you continue to repeat this loop like an elevator music playing in the heart of your soul. it's just, it's like it's an incessant loop. Hit rerun, hit return. You're just playing it. And you can see resentment manifesting when you keep sort of getting distracted by the hurt that ensued because of this mistreatment. You kind of always feel that you've gotten, kicked on, whatever, on. And you find that you keep recurring this, and even when things get good, you find ways to satisfy this neurological addiction. So even when things get good, you find ways to sabotage along the same manner. In other words, there's a chemical addiction. In other words, when things get good, you'll find out ways to overextend yourself and then keep that feeling of resentment in place. I can't handle this. I don't have what it takes. Here I go again. This always happens to me. I keep sabotaging myself. Sabotage, to muddle and befuddle, to, cause injury to self, either physically, financially, emotionally. Here I go again. I trusted the wrong person. And so there wasn't an adherence to boundaries and standards. Taking recount of the lessons learned. What should I have learned from this? What do I know about people? What are the red flags? Why don't I pay attention? Why don't I trust myself? Why don't I hold myself in esteem? And so I say, no, maybe not. I'm okay without. In other words, maybe it's I'm okay with being single. I'm okay with responsibility to myself. I'm okay with managing my family on my own. I'm okay with following my religious pursuits, my spiritual pursuits, or my talents now. Now, instead of, you're still stuck in what I call NOD thinking, negative orderly direction thinking, feeling, and behaving. This can harbor resentment. It's very important that you sort of smoke out this problem. You kind of flush it out within your healing work, within your healing journey. If you feel a sort of tinge of anxiety, anger, when you're quote unquote supposed to do something, I can't do this. I can't move on. I don't trust. I don't have. This is awful. This is horrible. You find yourself sort of stuck in those down and out basement mentality conditions. Or, you feel like you're just living in the attic of your soul. You're just sort of always in the skeletons in the closet mode. You're not able to kind of feel buoyant and, happy and being able to sort of move on with positive focus, positive I am statements, positive I am feelings. You're not able to make the switch. It is because oftentimes there is resentment harbored from these previous relationships, which are seeping through and impacting negatively your current day, your current moment, your current relationships, causing you to sabotage, befuddling you. I don't know why I did this again. I don't know why I ate, the whole strudel. I don't know why I spent all my money gambling. I don't know why I sabotaged my job. I don't know why I'm late all the time. Oftentimes, it is resentment from the previous hurts, even if they were decades ago. This can maintain and play like elevator music. It just keeps you in the same status quo. It's not really, good music. It's not really bad music, but there is a payoff to resentment. There's an energy that can be there. I'm so angry. People get riled up. They get addicted to this loop, playing neurologically and neurochemically and physiologically within your body, which is the subconscious mind. If you want to get to know yourself on a deeper level, do a body scan of your physical self. You can do it at any time. Where are you clenching? Are you armoring up? Are you, bracing yourself and making yourself hard? Are you, so that if you get hit, you can flinch it off, you can do one of those. Are you holding in your stomach all the time so you can barely breathe deep? Are you clenching your buttocks, your legs all the time, bracing yourself for what's to come, as if someone's going to just smack you in the gut and you go ahead, buddy, it'll hurt you more than me. You're harboring the resentment. You're not able to relax. You're not able to confront. You find yourself in an avoidant pattern. You need to identify the pattern. Get very good at identifying patterns within yourself. There is nobody more important than you. The president, okay, the president, the Queen of England, Brad Pitt, whatever, John Travolta, Halle Berry, whoever it is, we're not talking about your mentors or somebody who you appreciate. I'm talking about in your life, unequivocally, there's no one in your life more important than you. Oftentimes, people have been taught to feel less than other people. People who are taller, shorter, fatter, skinnier, long hair, short hair, long fingernails, short fingernails, light-colored skin, medium skin, dark skin, ebony skin, fair skin, yellow skin, whatever it is, skin. There's all this judgment going on that you have been taught. When you really exit that whole matrix of judgment and you really have a foundation within yourself, which is the storehouse of your knowledge, you have so much more wisdom than you will let out and reveal to yourself if you continue to harbor resentment. And if you continue to harbor, what is the word that I'm looking for, where you have sort of a grudge against other people? Grudges can be quote unquote very empowering to people, or they think there is a payoff or it's empowering. Never again is now. I will never forget this until the day I die. I will carry this with me to my grave. These are the secrets that I've never been able to let out. Well, if you have been harboring these, it's because you're holding someone else power over you. You are holding someone else superior to you. You are holding someone else above you. You are holding them there. Hey, look, this person is more important than me. They are always playing around in the loop of my mind, in my heart, in my body. You unequivocally, it's important that you do a body scan and that you do a feel scan and pay attention to these feelings and see where you're holding these resentments, sort of these people hostage within you. Oftentimes there's a payoff, because if you were to let them go, it would be to admit, well, that means I just let everybody walk all over me. That means that, this could happen again. This would mean that I'm okay with it. This would mean that I'm a weakling. I'm an ugly duckling. I'm a whatever. I'm a loser. I'm defeated. This one got me. They got me. So unequivocally, if you're drawing that meaning, I would challenge you to ask yourself, really, is that so? Did they really get one over on you? Did they really, are they really still have the ability to have power over you? And are you really giving them this position to have power over you? Are you electing them? Yep, go ahead, have power over me. I will give it all up for you. So if you are able to understand that in depth, it's very important. It is a very deep, deep concept, and it might take a while for this to soak in, and you might need to play this again and again and sort of really extrapolate and pull this out from within you to understand the role that resentment has and the role that you have in keeping it in place, the role that you have in keeping that loop playing, the role that you have in continuing to think the thoughts that keep that feeling, that keep that barrier, that keep that wall, that resentment in place. So to move through it, you unequivocally need to say, you know what, I own the fact that this happened to me. I accept this has happened. This is real. Even if you haven't had closure with this person, so it doesn't feel real, like you haven't moved through it, unequivocally, you will not get closure with these people, because the narcissist and the psychopath will never, ever feel that they have done anything wrong. You can't say, you can't hash it out, you can't discuss, you can't mull it over, you can't brood, you can't go tit for tat, you can't get into the boxing ring, you can't try to say, well, you owe me now because of all this years, you owe me a dinner, you owe me a vacation, you owe me $100,000, you owe me an apology, you owe me a smiley face, you owe me a hug, you owe me, okay? If so, if you are emotionally have these calculations that this person, needs to make something up to you, or you need an apology, or you want your life back from them, you are then, if you're thinking this or feeling this in the deep recesses of your heart, then unequivocally you are involving them as basically, the one who's in charge of your healing. You're giving your personal power up to this person. Well, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to just be waiting on your apology. I'm just going to be sit here and waiting for you to, call me back and apologize. I'm just waiting on, that long email. I'm waiting on, whatever, for you to give me a birthday gift, a Valentine's gift. I'm waiting for you to pay me off right now. I'm looking for compensation. I'm looking for someone to say, you know what, you are right. I owe you one. Let me give you the next 1,000 back rubs. It ain't going to happen. The narcissist and the psychopath unequivocally do not feel that they have done anything wrong. The psychopath, they don't have the ability to learn from these things. They don't get it. I helped myself and did this. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is how I think. This is how I feel. And even if I use this power, quote unquote, they might say, I want to use this, whatever, to, earn an income, get status, get lovers, get whatever, do the system, they will know unequivocally that they are different from others and that they don't feel and have a conscience the way that others do. They do not love. They do not have a low self-esteem problem. They will use this numbness, this lack of conscience to get whatever it is that they want. They unequivocally don't feel that they've done anything wrong because they do not have a moral compass. And the moral compass that they might present is nothing more than what they have garnered by looking at other people who have said sorry. They'll observe and they'll have a intellectualized apology. In other words, it's very cerebral in nature. It is because they observe and they say, oh, well, this is when people kiss and make up. I'm going to just mimic that. This is when people, do this and say, I'm sorry, but then they'll just go and do it again. And then they will be unaffected. They'll just be like, you catch them again and again and again. And you wonder why they aren't learning. They do not have the wiring. They just don't have a conscience. Snakes in suits without a conscience. Read the work of Dr. Robert Hare. Look at some of the stuff on Netflix. Watch YOU. Read the book. Read the book, Snakes in Suits. Read the book, Without Conscience. Read the book, The Psychopath or Sociopath Next Door. Watch Fire, F-Y-R-E on Netflix. Get a free subscription for 7 days and just check those out if you don't want a monthly subscription. Check these out. You will see unequivocally The Wolf of Wall Street, I think, was another one. Go and check these movies out. This is real. This exists. What you feel is real. And until you can face and accept and own that this happened, period, end of story, will you be able to then give up the resentment and just say and admit within your heart and to God and to your Savior and to Jesus, this happened. And because this happened, it was meant to happen. This happened to me. I accept. I accept. I accept. I accept this. This happened. And with this statement, I can relax. And with this statement, I can release the anger and the hostility because it happened. This is me. This is my life. This is what I experienced. Some people have gone to Hawaii. Some people have gone to Minnesota. They were there. Accept it. This happened to you. You were there. Accept it. You're not going to get, you're not going to get a postcard from them, I'm happy now, wish you were here. It ain't going to happen. If you're waiting for that, you're going to wait for eons. You know, you're going to wait for infinity. It ain't going to happen. If you can accept that this happened and that you can learn from this, and if you can own it and say, because I accept now, okay, because I accept now, I can relax. Because this happened, I can accept it, and I can own that fact. This happened. That was then. This is now. And because that happened, I accept it, and I own it. And that is the nostalgia of my life. That is what is carved out the character of me now. And I accept it, and I am okay with this. I'm okay with accepting the reality. I'm okay with it. This happened. And I have no shame in this. I have no shame in accepting. In fact, accepting is actually what's going to set me free. And it's what will remove and dissolve the resentment and the anger and the hostility. And furthermore, I accept it, and I'm going to stop beating myself up because of this. I'm going to just stop. I'm going to cease. I am going to surrender. And once you get to that level, and once you kind of smoke through the reasons why you have been resisting accepting, it is to say, I've been resisting because I'm afraid it'll happen again. I'm afraid that, you know, if I let them off the hook, they'll have gotten one over with me. That is, you know, flawed thinking if you really look at it, because the more you resist, the more it's going to persist. In other words, the more you hold on to resentment, the more it's going to stay a trigger factor in your life. The more it's going to just eat away at you. The more it's going to be part of still controlling you. That relationship is like it's still living in your house to this day. You might as well clean out a guest room and make it available for this person, because that's what you're doing when you're harboring resentment. You're expecting the past to repeat itself. The history is history, and tomorrow is a mystery. You can only make it a mystery when you open up to the awareness, the understanding, and the consciousness of the role that resentment and all the excuses you have created and convoluted and drummed up as to why you should not, you know, be able to accept this. So acceptance is really a very important and crucial stage. It's also, you know, the ultimate stage of grief. You know, if you look through the stages of grief, if you lose somebody, this is the ultimate stage. So you need to work through the other layers. If you look at the stages of grief, you know, anger and guilt, you know, are huge stages. So you need to work through, and the denial, you know, that keeps you blocked, that keeps you from sort of being done with this. So I encourage you and I challenge you to get to that level. No matter if this person is still in your life, they're still at your work, they're still in your memory, look and see if you can really come to peaceful acceptance. I accept that this has happened, and I accept that this has happened out of divine order. And once you can admit that, and then hang your head, not in shame, but in humbleness and humility, then you're really giving your own physiology and your own DNA a chance to heal and repair itself, especially at the deepest of deep levels. This is your buddy, peace and harmony with you here today. I hope that these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support. Peace out.